Well, that was perfect timing as to me making the joke that, am I about to record a video because the storm is making it dark outside? Yes. Yes, I am. Okay, we're doing this. Recording on the iPad, so I apologize if the little oof is also storming, so I apologize if there's rain and thunder. Oh, it's really coming down. Alright, so I already apologized for that. I'm recording on an iPad, so as I can tell right now, it's very fuzzy because I'm not using the other camera, I'm using the selfie camera. And I apologize for the slightly awkward angle. I don't really have a good camera right now, and I don't have any space on my iPhone, so iPad it is. So, I'm sure majority of people now play D&D. I play D&D, I'm a DM and a player. But something that I've noticed as well in D&D, there's not a lot of curses that make sense in the D&D world, because you can be like, oh my god, it's like, but what if they have a deity of gods? Or it's like, ah, Jesus. Is Jesus in your D&D world? Don't think so. I compiled a list of different sayings that can be different idioms and cusses that can be done in a fantasy world. I'm giving you guys leeway to use this, so if you want to use this, go ahead. I am completely fine with that. I'm making this for the people. The first one is what inspired me. Yes, Thor, hello. The first one was that inspired me was my brother in Christ. I love that meme. So I was like, how do I work that in D&D? My brother in Christ would be my brother of the gods. And I'm sure we all know that goodbye was a kind of, what's the word? It's slang for God be with you. Since usually in D&D there's multiple deities, God be with you, goodbye, doesn't quite work as well. So I put, instead of goodbye, I put fare thee well. Or I also put may goodness follow ye. So that way you can also still have it as like someone shorthanded it, so it can still be goodbye. Just a little historical spice for you. A fun saying that we say before we say curse words is often, pardon my French. How I like to say it in D&D is, oh, pardon my drow, but in the D&D world that I usually play in, drow is a French accent. So you can use pardon my for whatever race in D&D has the French accent in your world. Oh, for the love of God! It's a very easy change. You can just be like, oh, for the love of the gods! Or you can change it to whatever deity you would like. Oh, for the love of Fawn! Oh, for the love of Morgan! Fun stuff like that. It's great. It's a very easy change. Now some idioms. Don't judge a book by its cover. Now don't judge a creature by its horns. I just thought it would be neat. Horns can be defensive for survival, or horns can protect from aerial predators. So you don't really, horns can be used for bad, or they can be used for defense. So I just thought it would be cool to be like, don't judge a person by their horns. Another idiom that people might know, I think it's an idiom, an apple a day keeps the doctor away. Or we could say, well, an apple a day keeps the healers away. Or even better, well, an apple a day keeps the grave away, now doesn't it? I don't know why I'm doing voices, but isn't that neat? An apple a day keeps the grave away. Because in majority of fantasy settings, it's like Renaissance times, and that's where a lot of diseases were permanent, so like an apple a day keeps you from the grave. I just thought it was neat. There's a saying, I forget the context for it usually, but it's you gotta bite the bullet. I thought would be cool is that you would say you gotta grind the dagger, or you gotta take the wound. So you kind of just gotta, I don't know what bite the bullet means, but those probably work in context, hopefully. Now a fun thing, which just kind of works for the situation now since I'm recording in the rain, come rain or shine. It's raining and thundering right now, as it has been for the past couple weeks. Instead of saying come rain or shine, you could say, you come even if the gods decide against. Ain't that just like, Another fun one, two birds, one stone. Lacing two dragons with one arrow. Isn't that cool? My brain is just so great. Another one, stick to your guns. Kind of gotta like stick to what you say. So I think that's an idiom that's like, You gotta stick to what you believe in. There's usually some guns in D&D if you allow that, but there's also other weapons that I thought would be cool to have that saying with. Instead of stick to your guns, you can have stay by your sword, stay by your bow, cling to your axe, tighten the grip on your dagger. Just simple stuff like that. Two peas in a pod is a very adorable saying that you can totally still keep in your D&D games, but there's also some alternatives that I have that are equally as cool. Right, so instead of two peas in a pod, you can have, oh, you two are just two trees from the same forest, aren't you? Oh, you guys are just two flowers from the same field. It's like whoring. You two rocks plucked from the same pond. Just little cool stuff like that. Mountain out of a molehill. Now, I don't know how well this saying would work. Mountain out of a molehill is basically like making a big deal over something that's really tiny. Something that could be similar to that, I think. But instead of saying making a mountain out of a molehill, we're totally saying I nailed that. You can say instead, oh, you're just casting a ritual out of a cantrip. Sure, that works. So a saying that is common is a brush with death. That like you did something that was really reckless, or like something happened to you that you didn't expect and it could have ended badly. That's just a brush with death. Instead of saying you've had a brush with death, you could say instead, I guess I call it the feather of the raven. Well, you see, dear, you just saved your last breath. You simply just cured the fever of a skeleton. Well, we simply just saved some stone there. Save some stone meaning like a gravestone, because headstones are expensive. And then another one to kind of go into the same vein of like my brother in Christ, there's a fun saying called sweet summer child, basically meaning that you are someone of innocence and should be protected at all costs. Sweet summer child is beautiful to use in a campaign, but here's some alternatives if you want to spice it up a little bit. They're very boring now that I'm reading them. So instead of sweet summer child, you could say, you're such a child of the summer. Oh, you sweet innocent sunbeam. So, yeah, not as much cursing, because my grandma watches these videos, So that's just a few of idioms and curses that you could use in your D&D games. Totally use the ones if you're inspired by me. Totally make your own if you'd rather have more. If you come up with your own that you think are equally as good or even better, or worse, you can comment down below or comment wherever, just because I think that would be fun. So this can be used in any kind of fantasy setting. It could be used in books, D&D, or any type of like game you play. If you guys like this video, then I would love to see you in the next one. Be sure to follow me other places as well, as I post more in other places than I do on YouTube. I post more on Instagram, and I do post more on TikTok. Just follow me other places as well, as I post more and I update more. Comment nice things, be nice to others, be kind to others. I hope to see you guys in the next video. Thank you for sticking for this one, and have courage and stay safe. See ya, Tiger Lilies. Is that there's not a lot of cursing that doesn't make sense in the fantasy world. Or there's no cursing that does make sense in the... whoa, hold on. This is what happens when I don't have a script. Hold on. Or whatever I put. Jones, the judge, a creature, bad horns, and know how to talk. Could I move more or talk more with my hands? So instead of two peas in a pod, could the rain get any harder? Instead of saying making a mountain out of a mill, but instead of saying making a mountain out of a bull, you simply just cured the fever of a skeleton. Okay. This is why 12-year-olds say I'm cringe. Anyway, I have a button. Where is it? No? Go back. This is why the kids say that I'm cringe. But I'm also tired. I'm both of these things.